Okay, so Noah chapter 6, Atlas. Noah has uh, recently left the healing shelter, I think. Hold on, let's go to like we're not always gonna like read them simultaneously, but I'm just gonna go read the previous chapter real quick because I want to see what was happening then. Okay, so there. Okay, so hmm, okay, hold on. Hmm. Okay, so Noah. Okay, so Noah has just left the healing shelter, and he is, he's just kind of like working out like what his career goals and things are. And then also like, so I think he also just graduated from college. Um, maybe. So yeah, I do think that he did just graduate from college. He also said that he's in Kansas living with his friend or something. I think is what he said. He also so he's at a healing shelter, and I think that at some point he also said that he was living with one of his friends in Kansas. I need to go and find that. Hold on. Again, we aren't always going to do this. It's like generally, like I am much more like prepared to do things, but right now I'm just like kind of slacking. So okay, so now I need to go and no, this is fine because like I'm just talking to myself right now. Before I was being combative, and that's why I deleted that shit. But that's not that is okay. So I am going to find this. So this is like that scene in Passengers. I'm gonna have to watch that scene in Passengers where Aurora is uh I'm gonna have to watch that scene in Passengers where Aurora is writing on her phone because that or whatever that thing is because that's what's happening. So anyways, okay, so this was all written when he was in that house. Like he was in this is written in Marion. So whatever Noah is like whatever is happening with Noah is when I didn't even know this place that I'm in right now existed. So that's what's happening. And so like I have to bring my consciousness to the present where I am now physically and then also instruct the story on how to like the atlas on like where I am now and where like the I think that's what it is because like it's not necessarily that this is real because it isn't, but this one is closer to being real than Winter and Desmond were, and also this is like my story, like my authorship, and like the people who like follow my authorship probably want to see that I like my creativity is still alive and like my passion for my creativity is still alive. And so like the story it needs like it needs the sand in my brain from like the healing that has been accomplished like since I left Miriam, and then also just like with the uh, communication and the correspondence that I've had since then, and with like the sand in the Minecraft game and how that has been presented on YouTube and how like my Squarespace has been integrated into that, and how the Sand Fellowship has been like reincarnated. It's not a but been reincarnated. I think that all of that needs to be uh, represented in my authorship, because then my authorship will feel like it will like my brain will have that security because it'll be in my Google Drive, and my brain will know, okay, I still know how to do that, and like that's what it is. Because there were things that I forgot that I knew how to do. Like there are a lot of things that I've over my life that I forgot that I knew how to do. So if I remind my brain right now with this outline, this atlas, that I do still know how to do this, then when it comes time for me, like when I have the time to actually sit down and write something, and to actually set up my computer and like, not have the worry that I am going to like that my computer's going to be stolen or I'm going to be tricked or something, like then I think that then like I'll be able to like um write from a place of like like all I want is love, so I'll be able to write from that perspective of love, that way for me to turn and trust and all of that, and trust in myself. So anyways, so we're gonna read through chapter I think 3 of Noah really quick, and then we will get to it. So the Novera the Novera and Ambrodius song, that was Parish song, like that was Absol's Parish song, which makes a lot of sense because like I think Noah, like if we're like, so I'm getting to the point where like I'm able to like get the cohesive timeline of this, and so this is where Paul and Zendaya comes in, because like Paul is mastering time, Zendaya is mastering humanity, and Julian's mastering communication, and so in the thread of the story, and this is how like we can like kind of connect really quick to the forum in Dune 2. Like they'll be receiving these little bits of information from time, like the library and Interstellar, and that will help us with interviews. But so they can like see, like grasp the light from like that, like because light travels at light speed across like galaxies, and faster than humans can conceive. And so like the people at the United Universe can be like receiving this information at the forum. That's how the sand can connect to Minecraft, and how that can integrate into my authorship in Nick Fury Jr. And that's how like the United Universe guide works as well, and how receiving instruction works, all of that. So Noah, Noah is a um, I guess you can call him a multiversal character. I mean, I don't know if that's what we're calling it, but Noah is a multiversal character. There are not all of the characters are multiversal, but Noah is a multiversal character. And so Noah like can uh, communicate with the United Universe, and Noah is also someone who like knows Miles, but he is like human. And so like that's kind of like, and now we're kind of getting into what I was talking about like how there are some of the characters in the story are going to feel so closely like ingrained or embedded into their characters, the roles that they play, that they will feel. And I've heard actors say this in interviews before, that like they'll feel like the character is part of them or whatever. And I feel like this for Zendaya can be really helpful, because like um, this kind of will demonstrate the importance of an actor's work, because like an actor, like I'm an author, so like as an author, as a writer, whether that be screenplays, books, whatever, as someone who likes to write and someone whose forte is writing, the character to me is just a character that I created. It's not like I don't really identify with my characters that much, because I know that they are just like pieces of me, like my cells in my body, or like my immune system, or something like that. Like that's the way that I relate to my characters. like so, and it also makes sense because I think like I think mostly with my brain. Like I'm like almost 100% in my brain. And so I have to like when it comes to like my authorship projects and things like that. Like I really have to like I really have to oh yeah, so when it comes to like my authorship projects, like my brain is like I'm at the command center, right? And so I'm sending instructions to my characters more or less like the cells in my body and things like that. And so like that's how your brain works. Your brain sends neurological signals to your body, and then your body like your muscles, your muscles, your ligaments, your pores. Like these are all just like small parts of our body, but all of those signals are coming from our brain. And like that's kind of the kind of person I am. Like I'm all brain. And so like again, it's not necessarily saying that like my characters are just like don't mean anything to me or anything like that. It's just that like I the way that I relate to them is that they are just like pieces, like very, very, very sand like pieces of my body. And I think that's probably why I love sand. And then also just why I build with sand and I craft with sand. Because like sand, like they're just little it's like grits or it's like or even water. Like I mean really just anything. It's anything that we like have are just like clusters of smaller things. It's matter. That's really what it is, and that's what this darkness is. It's freaking everybody out. It's just darker. But that what's happening though is that like that's how I relate to my body though, and that's what silicon is. Silicon is in sand, so it's like people think that like people don't know how my brain works, and people don't really take the time to like actually like try to see like how my brain actually operates, and so like that's kind of why I get kind of frustrated a lot of times. But anyway, so now we can get to the point where Noah is communicating with the United Universe, and they're receiving these light beams from him. And that's how we can our beacons can be doing that as well. So like those two beacons can be sending like information to the United Universe, and then they're receiving that information, and then they are like kind of like Noah is so like the Novera is kind of like the spiritual awakening that is like this artistic renaissance that happened on Earth, like the actual Earth that we live on, like not a story. And so that's like something that actually like kind of happened, and that's also kind of like what November just kind of is. Is that what the Novera is? It's just November. Is that like what that is? It's just November and after arrival for this like spirituality. That's probably what that is. Anyways, so Noah, so like the Novera, I feel like that's actually what the Novera is. It's just that like every year there is the Novera, which it's not necessarily like that's like anything. And again, I'm not trying to like make people believe the Novera. Like that's not what my goal is. But for people who know me, and for myself included, and for like my followers and the people who love me, whatever, like the Novera is actually not a prophecy, but the Novera is like the atlas that occurs each year that's going to tell people how my life is going, and that's kind of like what if you really just think about it, like it's really ridiculous, and it makes me sound like I'm like really self-important, but like or that I feel really self-important, which is not like really true. I just like am very passionate about my creativity. It's really all that it is. But I'm also very defensive about my creativity. But so like the Novera, you can really honestly just think about the Novera as like a really, 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 really like intense birthday party. Like, um, but so no, but that is kind of what it is though, because like if you like for just like a normal human, like if you go to someone's like birthday party or you like hang out with them on their birthday or something, like the way that people like kind of like celebrate those sort of things. It's like, oh, this person, just reached this milestone in their life or whatever. And like that's really all the Novera is too. It's just like it's the milestone in my life that's gonna tell people like what is next for me, or what is next for my goals, or what is next for my career, or what is next for this next chapter of my life. That's literally all the Novera is. It's just my birthday. Like but anyways, so like it's just like it's just, and also like I think like like, and again, if you were to think about me, like my authorship is me sending neurological signals to the cells in my body. Like if I were to have like a brain injury or something, like for example, I got into that car accident. So like if I were to have like a brain injury, that's not where the brain injury came from, but that's not the point. And so like if I were to have a brain injury or like my diastema, like if that is sending signals from my tooth gap to my brain, and like there's a pain that I have or something, it would make sense that that pain would be rippled throughout my storytelling, and I wouldn't necessarily know that. And just like any sort of like trauma or repressed emotion or something, or repressed physical pain, like that is going to, your brain is going to send those signals. And so like every character that I created probably has like a small bit of that trauma being carried with them. But I didn't know that that was happening because I didn't know that the tooth gap was doing that. And so that's, now we know that. But anyways, so that, if you were to look at my authorship, look at the Sand Fellowship, look at my Minecraft servers, my YouTube channel, and think of it from the perspective of my brain is sending those signals to all of my characters. My brain is sending those signals to my my Minecraft server. Now, all of that is manifested as trauma that is now visible, and that is now something that you can interact with, and now something that you have a reference for, um, and an authentic and like verified, honestly, like account of where, of like how the author perceives those signals, and how those signals can be uh, how those signals can heal my body, because my brain, like your brain is what heals your body. That's like, if a person has an immune system, which is what my Kingdom Shell is, we'll get into that in author commentaries. But if your brain has an immune system, if your body has an immune system, and your brain is the commander of your body, then like your, like healing you is going to start in your brain on a neurological level. And so like a person articulating what they are feeling in their brain is going to send those signals to the rest of their body. And so if you actually listen to me articulate what, like what the physical experience of my brain is, then those signals are going to go to every single character that I've ever created. They're going to go to every like piece of artwork that I built, and they're going to give context to that artwork. And then you can use the artwork to heal my literal body. But you're not using it like, it's not a spiritual healing. You're just using my like it's, for example, like it's literally my, me articulating this is the same thing as me giving you a scan of my brain that you can see, a physical a a rendering of my brain that you can see and say, oh hey, that's where the pain is. This is something that needs to be healed. And so like the story now, my brain, like I really just gave you an articulate MRI image to correspond with the um, the light image that I uploaded to YouTube. Like that's what this is. And so Noah now, Noah is now kind of like in chapter 6 aligning himself with the Novera, with the actual experience of the Novera, because now Noah knows that each year on his birthday, that is the Novera. Like the Novera is going to happen every year on his birthday, but it won't be as traumatic now because now he knows what the Novera is, and he knows what people's experience of witnessing the Novera is. He knows what people's like kind of feelings about the Novera are, and he also knows now that Ambrodia's song is the Parish song from Absol's Parish song. So like again, it's like you have to think about if you were to think about like an eye exam, they look at your eye and they see like oh okay, so if you have like a retinal, they look to see like if you have like retinal tissue scarring or things like that. And so if you were to think about it from the perspective of like this person is like articulating things that he is seeing, and if you were to listen to me articulating the things that I've seen, whether that be films or things that I've written or things that I have drawn in Minecraft or that other people have drawn or anything like that, if you were to look at it from the perspective of just someone having an eye exam or something like that, like you would be able to see that like the it's just like a CD. It's literally like a CD. Like there's lights, like a CD player, or the way that a CD works and the disc reader works is that there's like you uh like encode light into the like like the circle pattern on the CD, and the disc reader reads it. So like if you just look at my eyes and listen to me articulating what my eyes have seen, and then you like synchronize those things, then like that's how you incorporate my biological identity, my DNA, with my authorship projects, and then I become one with Noah. The author and Noah become one in chapter 6. And then Noah, with this like comprehension of who he is, can communicate this information to his friends, can communicate this information to my family, to anyone who's worried about me, to my fraternity brothers, or into myself. And then also Noah can, get in contact with Isaac and be like, hey bro, I have recovered from the Novera. Please stop being depressed about it, because that isn't really benefiting us. And then like Noah and Isaac can genuinely reconnect now that Noah knows how to articulate um, who he is, and who he's like kind of becoming, and the direction that he's going. And then okay, so that is the Novera. We've covered the Novera. We've covered reconnecting with Isaac, and then the next what Noah wants now is to relocate and to establish his autonomy with the surface academies, also uh, to go to ASWA, because and like to do more research on ASWA, and then also go to the location of ASWA, because that was what he was wanting to do. Is he wanted to go to that school, and then that will be how he meets Julian, and that will be how Julian enters the story, and then that will be kind of like the doorway to 4, because we're in 4, but we're writing Noah. So 4 is the fourth uh, 4 is the fourth volume of the memoir. So we're living in 4, and that's me. The author is living in 4, and he's communicating this neurological signal to Noah in 3, so that I can help him. I can help that part of myself connect with the author, and then I can write Noah. Well, now that I am connected to him, now that the author is connected to the character, the neuron, you know. And so yeah, so that's how that works, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, and then also this will go kind of more to this kind of touch on, like people who, like, again, those people who like the actor side of it, who are more kind of in touch with their character and kind of feel like they are their character. I remember talking to Zendaya about that. She was saying that Tom kind of feels like he is the character of Peter Parker, and like Ned feels like Jacob feels like he is the character of Ned. And so that's kind of how we can go for that, because like I'm not really an actor. I know how to act, but I'm not really an actor. I'm an author. I'm a writer. And so like writer 6, actor 5. Oh, okay. That's probably what this room is. That's what this cube is. That's what Israel is. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, so like if you go to like how the actors kind of feel like they are the character to an extent, like that's kind of how how this can relate, and how it can be like pertinent, that like as the author and as a writer, um that and as somebody who is trying to sort of like prove his like value and his like authenticity and his like contribution, as like an emerging artist and as a visible artist, uh, as a new artist with a U. I'm sorry. Okay. As a new artist, um, someone who's kind of like establishing a place and establishing his voice and revealing his voice, enchanting like that can kind of like be that sort of like security that people are seeking for people who are attached to the role that they're portraying. Or because I mean, like for me, I again like I think from a very wide perspective, and so like the story that I'm writing literally starts when I was born to when I turned 30 in like the present. So like I'm writing like a memoir. And so like and then also but like again I not only am I writing a memoir, but like I'm not thinking of it as just like, oh okay, I was born and then like I'm writing about everything that I've experienced since I was born. It's like I'm writing about everything that I've experienced since I was born, but also how the history of the society that I grew up in shaped my development and shaped how how I grew and and like how I applied the things that I learned to my life and like my life design. And so that's kind of why like Pearl Harbor or not well Pearl Harbor is relevant because I did really like Pearl Harbor, and a lot of like the earlier like renditions of my story were very much inspired by Pearl Harbor. But that's why Midway is so important because Midway, oh my gosh, that movie is gorgeous. Oh, I love that movie so much. But yeah, so Midway is an awesome and I like am really like I love that movie because like it like so when Elsa goes to Holland, they say grow yourself into something new, and like it just so happens that Midway came out like 2 weeks before that, like, and that's why like I get really frustrated because I'm like it's not I don't get frustrated with people who like I've said this before, but I don't get frustrated with people who believe things that I don't believe or believe something different than I believe. But someone who believes the same thing that I believe but is denying that they believe it, I'm not going to talk to that person. Like that's it's ridiculous. It's a waste of time. And it's like that gets on my nerves. And I'm like these movies are connected. We all know that these movies are connected, and you guys are just pretending that they aren't. And I'm just not going to talk to you because it's dumb. Like, you're wasting your own time and mine. But so like like I remember oh yeah, so the movie Cloud Atlas. Cloud Atlas, great movie. I love that movie. And the reason that that movie is so relevant is because like it really incorporates this concept of like um of time not necessarily be it's not because like Jacob in Collateral Beauty says that time is a stubbornly persistent illusion, and it's like it kind of is like our experience of time. Time isn't I don't think an illusion, but the way that humans um like the way that humans like relate to time is kind of illusory. But like and that's what it is. It's like things are what they are. It's just that like what people think are illusions are just people's perceptions of their experience. So it's like that's not really an illusion though. It's just that like everybody perceives things the way that their mind perceives it, but that's not really an illusion. And I think that's where we have to like be careful because when you say things like that, like you can literally like halt the a person's development or the progress in their life by you just not like having the same experience of the world that they had. But like, and that's why like when it comes down to like the brain, I just think that, and that's why like I really just go off of like knowledge and like things that you can study because like belief doesn't really get you anywhere. Like I'm sorry, but it just doesn't. Like it's not beneficial to society, and I just don't like care about it like, at all. And again, I'm not condemning it. I'm just saying that I don't care about it. That's not the same thing. And so, but yeah, so like when it comes to when it comes to um, the brain, same thing with the brain. Uh, oh yeah, we were talking about time. So Cloud Atlas. So like that movie, it incorporates like several eras of and it has like I love that movie so much because it has the future and then it has like a kind of like dystopian future, but like that is really like uh, that's really like high tech and awesome. And then like it has like a post-apocalyptic future that is after the really high-tech future that incorporates like a destroyed civilization and like an intact civilization. And so like all of that futuristic stuff is still there, but also all of this like this like destroyed post-apocalyptic stuff is happening at the exact same time, and like that's really cool. And like I just like it's like to encompass a range that is so like distant in time. I just think it's insane and it's awesome. And like and that's kind of why like I my creative range presentation, because like an actor's range is or an author's range or whatever, a creative's range, it's to witness something like that, to see someone like who is to see somebody like growing that like to see like, I mean, it's really, and like that's really just what it is. It's like roots in a tree, time, or like light beams traveling across like star systems, and just like it's so it's just so like the brilliance of it. It's just like it's like a beautiful light shining through my window. It's just I love it. But anyways, so I'll just have to wrap this up because Noah, I just like, and this is, I think this is why like a lot of the times people will think like they'll see me like kind of like doing my own thing or something, and they'll be like, oh, like that person's talking to himself, and it's like, no, I'm like writing something, and like just because I have many characters in my story doesn't mean that I have multiple personalities. Like it just means that I have a wide range of imagination, and like that's what like really frustrates me is that like imagination, like someone like, and I think that's what's happened throughout all of time. It's like people will see like a person whose imagination is like not the same as theirs or is on a higher level than theirs, and they will think that that person is crazy, or they'll think that that person, or they'll just like really, or people will like call them a god or a messiah or something. It's like that person's probably not a god. They're probably just smarter than you. Like, and I think that's why I get so like frustrated, because like the human imagination is a really powerful thing, and like you can the human imagination, anyone's imagination can make themselves believe anything really. But like, so a person with a very powerful imagination or a very like active imagination is going to probably, it makes sense why someone would perceive that person as a god or as like a deity or as a messiah or as a savior, when in reality honestly they're probably just way smarter than you. Like that's really probably all that it comes down to. But anyways, so yeah, that's how we'll go with Noah, and we'll have Noah, I also want to have Noah meet Riley. Oh, this is what I was trying to talk about with the acting thing and people like being connected to their characters. So I want to have Noah meet Riley and Miranda, because Miranda, like, I think that that will uh, give that security back to people who kind of like, the people who felt like when they read the Winter story that Riley just like died or whatever when he like went to the lake. It like, because I mean, we at the end of that story, the revised version, he comes home and he like, he reconnects with he talks about how he reconnects with his like birth family, and he talks, or we don't see that, but like that happens as reference. Um, and so like I think Riley, and then we also talk about how like they are working on that company and everything, and how like Riley and Summer are like together, and like they're kind of like, everyone at the lake is kind of trying to like reorient themselves to like this experience of Riley being like human and like Forrest being human, but like not being human. And so like, and if you, and like I think that'll be really interesting, because like that's kind of why I find that story so interesting, is because like Riley is not even living like just like a double life. Riley's living like he has like a dual spirit. Like he's a human being, but he's also connected to this like spiritual realm. And it's like, it's literally like best of both worlds, except for like except it's actually like this like really beautiful like spiritual thing that's happening. And I think that's really cool, because like it's also very similar to Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man, um, for a large part of the story, like people don't know that he's Spider-Man, and like that's a huge part of like that like trope, is that like there's this character or this like person who has this like identity that people don't know exists. And so, but like Riley, and again, like I think that's what kind of frustrates me about that is that like when people see someone on like a spiritual level like Riley, who is a spiritual being, that like has a an entirely like separate like existence apart from his human self, like people want to make that like a Spider-Man thing, or like they want to turn that into like a comic book character, and it's like it's not a child thing though. Like this isn't for children. Like I'm not writing for children. I don't know why people see this 30-year-old man who has never had sex with a woman, who has never like adopted a child legally. Like why do you think that I'm writing stuff for children? Like why do you guys think that anything that I do is for children when I have gone so far out of my way intentionally not have children? I don't know why people think that I care about children. But anyway, so and it's also like that's also another thing. It's like 99.99% of the things that I say like are not real. Like are just like me talking because I like to talk. But anyways, so that yeah, and that's what's so frustrating about it is because like people listen to things that I say and that I'm not talking to them, and B like I'm literally just talking because I like to talk, and it's like I'm not even asking you to listen to me. So like why it's like why are you commenting on things that I say, or like saying that things that I say are lies, or like you don't believe something I say when I wasn't even talking to you. Like that's why I get so frustrated. But anyways, so it's writing, it's authorship, and it's like I'm not gonna apologize for the like billions of things that I've said throughout my life that I never even told anyone were true. Like it's so dumb. But anyways, so okay, that's Noah, and yeah, so I want Noah to meet Riley and Miranda, because I think that will like that will bring people who like know Riley, and it'll also show how Riley has gotten to the point where he can communicate with like humans and like in a way that like that reassures them that he is like not like dead or whatever they think happened to him. Like I don't know, but I don't know, but like it will show people that like this figure of Riley who and like Forrest and Lake, these characters who just like who people think just like ascended to godhood and abandoned humanity. It's like people will be like, okay, no, that didn't actually happen. Like it's just it was a spiritual awakening that you don't like comprehend, but that's not what happened. And I think that that will like make the story. I think that that will make some of the like fervor in the story. It will it will like restore some of the like normalcy, and it will restore some of the like the um just like it will restore the humanism to the story, and I think that that's really what was happening is that like in Noah chapter 6 we will restore humanism to the United Brotherhood. There we go. Awesome.